almost every 1975 to 1995 Mercedes-Benz that you acquire is going to need some sort of, I'll call it beautification. A little restoration here, a little cosmetics here. But in almost every case, I can't think over the last 10 years of any car that I've picked up that hasn't needed some sort of work on the front end. The front end gets a lot of abuse. It's whether you get sand or rocks coming off the road. In this case, we got some rust on the chrome. But this is where I usually start. Of course, you're talking other issues like, polishing and waxing and interior detailing. But almost always I start with the front end right here. And so is the case with this 1990 300 SE that I just acquired. And look what I've acquired here. Now, this grille surround is not original, and you know how I can tell? Because it's pitting. That's very common with these aftermarket grills. But I have a couple good original surrounds. This has the good plastic grill screens, so we're going to be swapping those out and polishing this grill. I've got a marker lens here that's broken, a big hole in it. This is very, very, very common. These marker lenses get cracked, broken, and you get moss and crud growing inside. So, and you can usually find these good used. You don't have to try to buy a new one. They're very expensive. So I've got a really good used driver's side turn signal marker lens here. And then almost in every case on the, when you get up the 123 and the 201 and the 124, 126 chassis, it's these plastic headlight doors that need help. They really need help. Most of them are sand pitted or cracked, and in this case, badly faded. So I have a couple of very nice, look at the difference. Look at how nice that looks, a brand new headlight door to go on this 300 SE. But I want to show you up close what this really looks like, and this will give you a good before and after comparison, because I'm going to go ahead and replace these parts. I don't need to show you how to do that. I have other videos available on that. I'm going to put links in the show more description, and I'll just send you to some of those other videos and some of the other information I have on my website. And if you're interested in learning more about this, you can look at those links too. So we're going to show you up close. Then I'm going to change these parts out over the next hour, hour and a half, and then I'm going to come back and give you an after view, and you'll be amazed at the difference. Here you can see the pitting and the chrome that I was talking about earlier. It even comes right down in this area. I know some of you might be thinking, well, Kent, you could polish that out, some real 000 steel wool and some chrome polish. Yeah, but that's only going to look good for a while. This pitting will come back. I've learned that the hard way. So this chrome grille surround is going to be replaced with an original OE one that I picked up from a good parts car, and we will have to remove this from the hood in order to change that out. This right side turn signal lens is in good shape, so I'm not going to need to do anything with that. But look at this headlight door. It's cracked along here, and look at how badly faded it is, as well as it's got, this typical sand pitting in it. Look at the difference, what the new one looks like in comparison with that old one. There's a couple other things, I'm looking at the headlight glass. It looks okay, but look at this wiper. Look at the headlight wiper. The blade shot, so I'm going to order in a couple new blades, and then I'm going to repaint this wiper arm here, and that'll really highlight the front end, as you'll see in the after scenes we'll show later on. Okay, it's about an hour and a half later, and I'm done. And it's not a difficult job, and you get looking at these old parts. Take a look at close-up of these plastic headlight doors. You can see how they get so badly faded and cracked just from sitting in the sun, a lot of crazing. So those weren't too hard to replace, okay? The grill was a little more difficult. You've got to take the grill off the hood and then flip it over and pull that screen out. But look at the back side of this grill, how much rust is already showing up in here. So as I said earlier, these aftermarket grills aren't the best as far as plating. So now, in review, let's take a look at the before again. Okay, take a close look, kind of embed this in your memory here. And now I want to pan across the front. Just look at the difference with the headlight door and the wiper, the headlight wiper, and moving across into the grille. You can see that that original chrome still shines on that grille surround. And then moving over here on the left side, look at the difference in how that headlight looks compared to what it was. I know some of you are going to be thinking, well, Kent, why don't you just put European headlights in it? They even look nicer. And I tend to agree, okay? But you've got a choice. If you're going to get the original Bosch Euro headlights, I'm not a big fan of the depot aftermarket Euro headlights, but if you're going to get the Bosch aftermarket headlights like you see here in this 300 SD, okay, granted, that looks really nice. And you can actually get the older style cover plates below the headlights that don't have the holes for the wipers and paint them to match your car if you don't want headlight wipers to show as well. And I'm also going to show you, I've done another video on the same process on a W123 chassis. I'll put the link below in the show more description to that video. You might want to look at that. Once again, it's just a dramatic change before and after on the W123. And if you're looking, you know, if you need the parts, we got a lot of good use parts. Usually that's the best way to go on a lot of this. And we have new headlight doors and some other new parts that are still available. A lot of these parts are dropping off. They're not available. So if you have a 75 to 95 Mercedes and you want to beautify your front end, I recommend you do it now while these parts are still attainable.